In the world of Aethelgard, every person was born with a star. These were not the distant, cold specks of light you might see in a normal sky. Oh no, these stars were living, breathing companions, their light a reflection of the soul they were bound to. They pulsed with joy, dimmed with sorrow, and shone with a fierce, protective love. For 17 years, Kaoru had lived as an orphan in the Grand Observatory, a place of polished brass and whispering corridors, watching the other children laugh as their stars danced above their heads. His own patch of sky remained stubbornly, achingly empty, a constant reminder that he was alone, a boy without a celestial echo in a world defined by its light. This emptiness was a quiet sort of pain, a hollow space in his chest where a star's warmth ought to be. He would spend his nights on the highest balcony of the observatory, his gaze fixed on the celestial tapestry above. He watched the vibrant, happy stars of others dart and weave through the cosmos, their colors singing songs of belonging. He imagined what his own star might look like. Would it be a fiery, courageous red, or perhaps a calm, thoughtful blue? He longed for that connection, that silent understanding that came from having a piece of the heavens tethered to your very being. It was a yearning so deep, it felt like a part of his own soul was missing, lost somewhere in the infinite darkness between worlds. Then came the Night of the Shattered Veil, a cosmic event whispered about only in forbidden texts. A fissure of pure shadow tore across the heavens, and from it fell a single errant star. It was not bright or joyful. It was a thing of violet-black emptiness, a void that seemed to drink the light around it. They called it the Deadlight, a cursed remnant from a forgotten war between cosmic entities. While others ran, shielding their own precious stars from its corrupting influence, Kaoru stood frozen, captivated. The Deadlight did not fall randomly. It descended with an unnerving purpose, its chilling radiance aimed directly at the starless boy on the balcony. The fusion was not a gentle bonding, but a violent, silent collision of shadow and soul. The Deadlight didn't just link with him, it became a part of him, its cold, silent energy sinking into his very bones. The world, which had once pitied him for his lack of a star, now recoiled in terror. He was no longer just the orphan Kaoru. He was the boy touched by the Deadlight, a walking shadow, an omen of cosmic misfortune. Adults would pull their children away, their own stars flaring in alarm. His loneliness, once a quiet ache, became a loud, suffocating shroud. He was an outcast, marked by a forbidden star that whispered not of light, but of an ancient, profound emptiness. Just when the shadows of his isolation threatened to consume him entirely, a peculiar figure entered his life. Professor Lyra was a woman who seemed to be woven from stardust and forgotten lore, her hair the color of a silver nebula, and her eyes holding the wisdom of ancient constellations. While others saw a curse, Professor Riva saw a cosmic anomaly worthy of study, and more importantly, a boy in desperate need of a guide. She didn't flinch from the Deadlight's chilling aura. Instead, she looked at Kaoru with a curiosity that was refreshingly free of fear, offering him a place in her cluttered, dusty workshop tucked away in a forgotten spire of the observatory. Professor Riva introduced him to the ancient art of starcrafting. It was a craft that went far beyond mere astronomy. It was the practice of shaping raw stardust into tangible objects, imbuing them with memories, dreams, and emotions. "Stardust holds the universe's memories, my boy," she would say, her voice like rustling parchment. "And a star, even one like yours, is a gateway to those memories." She taught him how to gather fallen stardust, to feel its faint hum of potential, and to coax it into forms. Under her tutelage, Kaoru discovered he had a strange intuitive talent for the craft, the Deadlight's shadowy energy giving him a unique control over the raw magic. It was in the workshop that he truly met Lyra. He had seen her before, of course, a quiet girl with kind eyes, but now they were thrown together by their shared mentor. Lyra was bound to a star that was fading, a beautiful pale thing that flickered like a dying candle flame. Its gentle light was growing weaker with each passing day, and with it, so was Lyra's own strength. She did not fear Kaoru's Deadlight. In fact, she seemed drawn to its silent stillness, finding a strange comfort in its presence. She saw past the shadow to the lonely boy within, and he, in turn, saw past her fragility to the fierce hope that burned in her heart. Their friendship blossomed amidst jars of stardust and whispered secrets. Kaoru would forge small trinkets for her, a bird with wings of captured twilight, a flower that hummed a forgotten lullaby, each one a small piece of his own burgeoning hope. Lyra would share stories of the world beyond the observatory, tales of floating islands and crystalline forests, her voice painting pictures that filled the lonely corners of his heart. Together, they represented a peculiar balance. The boy with a star of absolute shadow and the girl with a star of fading light, finding solace in their shared cosmic imperfection and forging a bond stronger than any celestial tether. Driven by a desperate need to find a cure for Lyra's dying star and a deeper desire to understand his own, Kaoru embarked on a journey. Professor Riva provided him with a small enchanted skyship, its sails woven from captured starlight, and a map of the floating islands of Aethelgard. With Lyra by his side, her frail star pulsing weakly above them, Kaoru left the only home he had ever known. Their voyage took them across a breathtaking celestial sea, sailing between islands that drifted like great green ships upon an ocean of clouds. The world was far more magical and mysterious than he had ever imagined from his lonely balcony. Their travels brought them into contact with all manner of fantastical beings. They navigated through the whispering woods on the Isle of Murmur, where ancient trees spoke in riddles and mischievous sprites with wings of moonbeams tried to lead them astray. Kaoru discovered that his deadlight, so feared by humans, had a different effect on these creatures. The sprites were not afraid, but fascinated, and the wise, moss-covered guardians of the forest regarded him with a solemn respect, sensing the ancient power that now resided within him. He was not an outcast here. He was simply a part of the world's vast, unpredictable magic. On the crystal spires of Eridor, they met the Lumina, beings made of pure, sentient light. The Lumina recoiled from the Deadlight's presence, their very forms dimming in its vicinity. Yet, they saw Lyra's fading star and took pity on the travelers, sharing prophecies of a place called the Starforge, a mythical celestial crucible where stars were said to be born and remade. It was a place of immense power, they warned, a place that could heal or destroy with equal ease. The choice, they chirped in their crystalline voices, would rest not with fate, but with the wielder of the shadow and the keeper of the fading light. This journey across the Sky Islands was a journey into himself. With every new island and every strange encounter, Kaoru felt a shift within him. The shame and fear that had clung to him for so long began to peel away, replaced by a growing sense of purpose and a quiet confidence. He was more than just the boy with the cursed star. He was a starcrafter, a protector, a friend. He looked at Lyra, her determination a quiet fire against the backdrop of her weakening star, and knew he was no longer just searching for a place to belong. He was fighting for one. Their long and winding voyage finally led them to the Starforge. It was not a place on any map, but a nexus point in the cosmos, a floating island of obsidian rock suspended before a swirling, incandescent nebula. At its heart was a great anvil, humming with the raw, untamed energy of creation. This was the crucible of the heavens, the place where destinies were written in fire and light. Here, Kaoru was faced with an impossible choice, the weight of two worlds resting upon his young shoulders. He could use the Forge's power to sever the deadlight from his soul, becoming normal at last, and heal Lyra's star, restoring the world's balance. Or he could do something else entirely. For a moment, he was tempted by the promise of healing, of finally being free from the shadow that had defined him. He could give Lyra back her light and erase the mark of the outcast from his own soul. But as he looked at the deadlight pulsing within him, no longer a curse but a familiar, quiet companion, and then at Lyra's trusting face, he understood. To erase the shadow would be to erase a part of himself, to deny the journey that had shaped him. To simply heal the world would be to return it to the way it was, a world that had cast him out. He decided he would not heal it, he would change it. With a resolve that sent tremors through the very fabric of the Starforge, Kaoru reached into his own soul and drew forth the essence of the deadlight. He then gently took a flicker of light from Lyra's fading star. He placed both upon the celestial anvil, the cold silent shadow and the warm dying light. He brought the might of the Forge down upon them, not with the intention to destroy or purify, but to merge. He poured all of his memories, his loneliness, his friendships, and his hopes into the act, forging not from stardust alone, but from the very essence of his journey. What emerged from the cosmic fire was something new, something the universe had never seen before. It was a star of perfect balance, one half a brilliant, hopeful gold, the other a deep, tranquil violet black. It did not erase the shadow, nor did it overpower the light. It held them in a beautiful, harmonious dance. As this new star settled above him, pulsing with a steady, gentle rhythm, Lyra's own star stabilized, its light returning, now tinged with a soft, shadowy edge. As they stood there, bathed in the glow of their shared twilight, the Starforge rumbled, and from its depths, a greater, more ancient consciousness began to stir, awakening to the dawn of a new age. A new adventure was just beginning.